A generational reckoning, the hidden truth behind Brooke Lynn, Lois, and Tracy in Port Charles. In the winding, emotionally charged corridors of Port Charles, secrets often come with sharp edges. No family embodies this paradox more than the Quartermaines, and in a shocking twist involving Brooke Lynn, Tracy, and Lois, the very foundation of identity, legacy, and motherhood is thrown into question. As decades of buried decisions resurface, it's not only the sins of the past that haunt these women, but the bitter realization that even with the best intentions, the consequences can echo across generations. It all begins with a moment of emotional fatigue, when Brooke Lynn, long the center of familial conflict and conflicting loyalties, finally loses her composure. In a tense exchange with Tracy, the iron-willed matriarch whose opinions tend to dominate every room she enters, Brooke Lynn retaliates in the most devastating way imaginable. Tired of hearing endless praise about her so-called perfect stepmother Lulu, Brooke Lynn blurts out a secret so tightly held it threatens to blow the entire family apart. Lulu knew all along about the baby Brooke Lynn gave up for adoption as a teenager. The words hang in the air like a thunderclap, silencing Tracy in an instant and sending shockwaves that neither woman could take back. To Tracy, this is more than betrayal, it is a seismic revelation that shakes her worldview. But her response isn't one of warmth or curiosity. Instead, she is horrified that no one informed her of her status as a great-grandmother. That this child, this symbol of legacy and Quartermaine continuity, existed without her knowledge seems, to her, not a personal loss of love but a business transaction gone awry. Her grief is not about missed bedtime stories or lost years of bonding, it's about power, prestige, and the continued lineage of the Quartermaine name. In Tracy's eyes, a great-grandchild wasn't a person, he was a birthright denied, an asset misplaced. And standing across from her in moral defiance is Lois. Vivacious, unapologetic, and fiercely devoted to her daughter, Lois carries herself like a woman who believes she took the high road. She sees herself not only as a protector of Brooke Lynn's mental and emotional health, but also as a shield for her grandson, a boy named Gio, who has been raised in loving ignorance of his biological roots. Lois has always made it her mission to buffer Brooke Lynn from the toxic clutches of the Quartermaine machinery, a family known for turning love into leverage and affection into obligation. But while Lois may see herself as the antidote to Tracy's control, the truth is murkier than she would like to admit. In protecting her daughter, did she simply enact the same kind of controlling behavior, veiled in maternal righteousness? Brooke Lynn had made her wishes clear. She wanted a closed adoption, no ties, no lingering shadows, no emotional tethers. It was her attempt to move forward, to heal, to relinquish the responsibility of a decision made too young, under too much pressure. Lois didn't honor that. Instead of following her daughter's instructions, she turned inward to her own mother, Gloria, and left the child, now known as Gio, with family. To Lois, this wasn't deception, it was salvation. But to Brooke Lynn, it was a violation of the most sacred boundary a mother can set. Even more painful is the reality that Lois never revealed the truth to Ned, the man who is not just Brooke Lynn's father but also Gio's grandfather. Lois's refusal to acknowledge Ned's role isn't an oversight, It's an intentional act of severance, a way of drawing a line between what she views as a loving home and a toxic dynasty. Yet perhaps the cruelest irony lies in the comparison between Lois and Tracy, two women who claim to know what's best, who rail against each other's flaws while remaining blind to their own. Tracy accuses Lois of being manipulative and secretive, while Lois frames Tracy as cold and calculating. But in truth, they are two sides of the same maternal coin. Both have made choices rooted in their own interpretations of love, both have withheld the truth to protect or control those they care about, and both have, in their own way, trampled over Brooke Lynn's autonomy in pursuit of a legacy that suits them. The tragedy isn't just the loss of trust or the mishandling of Gio's early life, it's the false sense of moral superiority each woman clings to. Tracy grieves a missed opportunity not to nurture, but to possess. Lois mourns the fracture between herself and her daughter, but refuses to confront the uncomfortable reality that her decisions mirrored those of the very family she sought to escape. Now, as Gio grows into a young man with a bright future and deep questions about his past, the fragile scaffolding of lies and omissions threatens to collapse. Port Charles has seen its share of betrayals, of secrets, of whispered truths that unravel lives. But the story of Gio, Brooke Lynn, Lois, and Tracy stands apart, not because of the intensity of the drama, but because of its deeply personal stakes. This is not just about inheritance or names on birth certificates. It's about what it means to be a mother, a daughter, and a child caught in the crossfire of love and legacy. Brooke Lynn, for all her heartbreak and confusion, finds herself standing at a crossroads she never wanted to face. In trying to relinquish a part of her life, she has been forced to relive it, piece by painful piece. She did not ask for this confrontation, but she cannot avoid it now. The people who claimed to love her most betrayed her trust, and the son she hoped would grow up free of the Quartermaine weight may now find himself right back in the gravitational pull of its orbit. As for Tracy, the revelation has sparked more than just outrage, it has stirred something long dormant. The idea that she has a great-grandchild she's never met fills her not with maternal yearning, but with a renewed desire to assert control. She sees Gio not as a bridge to healing, but as a tool in a game she's played her entire life. And if Lois thought she could keep that truth buried, she has underestimated the full force of Tracy's wrath. Meanwhile, Lois finds herself questioning everything she once believed about motherhood. Was she truly protecting her daughter, or simply rewriting history to suit her fears? As the Quartermaine name looms large once again, Lois must reckon with the uncomfortable truth that in trying to save Brooke Lynn, she may have become everything she once despised. And Gio, the young man at the center of this storm, remains unaware of the chaos swirling in his name. But not for long. Because in Port Charles, secrets never stay secret, and blood ties always leave a trail. In a town where identity is currency and loyalty is often weaponized, the story of Gio's origin and the battle between Lois and Tracy is far from over. The question is not just who will control the narrative, but who will survive it with their soul intact. Would you like this expanded further into a longer storyline or continue with Gio learning the truth?